Time melts. The sound came before the light. A faint rhythmic ticking echoed somewhere in the darkness steadily, almost like a heartbeat. Miss Sofie lifted her head from her donut bed, her ears twisting restlessly. She could feel it more than she could hear it. Something was beginning to awaken. It was December the 8th. The fire had gone out during the night, and the air in the room was as cold as ice. Outside, the world was still, too still. The key lay on the table before her. It shimmered faintly in the dim light of dawn, but it was smaller still, a fragile droplet of ice that looked as if it were struggling to hold itself together. "You're melting faster now," she whispered, "as if you know we getting closer to something important." A loud crash came from the attic, making her ears perk up. "I'm alive!" came Wims's muffled voice, followed by coughing and clatter of falling things. Miss Sofie ran into the hall. "What are you doing?" Wimsey poked her head down through the attic hatch, her hair full of dust and snowflakes clinging to her eyebrows. "I was looking for Wilma's old clock. I think it's been waiting for us." She hopped down, holding up a small silver watch. It was frosted over and motionless. Yet, in the quiet room, Miss Sofie thought she heard an echo. Tick, tock, tick, tock. "It's not running," said Miss Sofie. "Exactly," said Wimsey, "and yet it ticks, but only when I hold it." Miss Sofie glanced at the key gleaming faintly in the morning light. "Then time isn't broken, it's just trying to remember." They stood still for a moment as a strange light slid across the wall. The key cast a golden stripe against the wallpaper, and there, where the light touches, another door appeared. It was shaped like an hourglass, with tiny stars swirling in a spiral at its center. "Oh no," sighed Wimsey. "A time-space doorway. It always get a headache from it." Miss Sofie smirked. "We have to open it. Time doesn't wait." She slid the key in and entered with a soft sign, and the door dissolved into light. They stepped through into a place unlike any other. It had no walls, no ceilings, no floor. Only an endless expanse filled with floating gears, glittering droplets, and clockworks turning in slow motion. Each movement sent small flashes of light rippling through the darkness, like stars trapped in glass. "It's beautiful," whispered Miss Sofie. "And dangerous," said Wimsey. "Here, anything that stands still too long begins to melt." They moved forward carefully. Around them, the ticking grew louder, pulsing like a heartbeat. Miss Sofie could feel the cool. Yet beneath it, a rhythm alive and steady, beating in tune with her own. In the center of the vast chamber hung a giant clock. Its hands moved back and forth, caught between two moments. Beneath it floated a single droplet of ice, glowing softly, suspended between falling and floating. That's time itself, said Wimsey. It's melting. Miss Sofie stepped closer. Her breath drifted in small clouds of frost. Every thought of Wilma, of the key, of Christmas, stirred the air. The gears shifted and the light flickered. She could feel it. Time was listening. Then the great clock began to tick, slowly at first, then louder, until the entire space hummed. The glowing droplet began to smelt faster. Be careful, cried Wimsey. You are making it disappear. It must melt, said Miss Sofie calmly. Time needs to flow, not freeze. She placed her paw against the crystals. A burst of white light explored outward, and they were swept into a storm of visions. Past Christmas, laughter, snow, warm hands, stars falling like tears. And through it all came a voice. Sofie. Wilma? You are on the right path, said the voice. But remember, when time melts, that hides behind it will awaken. Shadows slithered through the light like septons. Wimsey gasped. The shadow, it's here. The clocks began to rattle, hands spinning wildly, gears snapping like ice. Miss Sofie raised the key, glowing now like liquid gold. You won't take me, darkness, she shouted. Time is my friend. A great crack shook the world. Light and shadow collided and fused. Then silence. When the stillness settled, they were back in the living room. The fireplace burned quietly once more. Outside, the wind was calm. The clock on the wall was ticking again. Wimsey swallowed hard. Sofie, we lost a day. Miss Sofie smiled faintly. No, Wimsey. We gotten it back. She laid her paw against the key, now glowing warmly. At last she understood why it melted. Light needs time, she said, and time needs the heart. Wimsey nodded. But outside in the snow, the darkness stirred, forming shapes like words. Through the frosted window, Miss Sofie could just make them out. The heart of Christmas must be found before the darkness learns to love. She shivered, but only for a moment, for within the fear a spark of strength lightened. Time had awakened, and so has she. That's the end of December the 8th. And if you dare, you can come back tomorrow and hear about the invisible city. Merry Christmas.